Greetings, and welcome to the High Flying Tutors Academy channel. Today, I'm going to help you with on how to calculate distribution costs and administrative costs. That after their totals, you will have to transfer to the statement of profit or loss and other comprehensive income. So these are their formats where we are going to do calculations. So without any waste of time, let's go to the question that we are going to use right there. All right. So we are having a question about Batlokwa Limited. The balances below was obtained from the accounting of Batlokwa Limited, balances of Batlokwa Limited as at 31st August 2014. Remember, since we are going to calculate expenses or costs that are going to affect or that must be recorded in the statement of profit or loss, we have to be clear on this one that all the costs for the year or all the expenses for the year, we're going to deal with that. Whether the expenses were paid or whether the expenses were still outstanding or accrued, we have to consider them in the statement of profit or loss for the whole year. Like when we prepare the statement for the profit or loss, we need expenses, we need incomes for the whole year, which is 12 months period, not for 13 months, but 12 months, not for 11 months or less than, nothing more or less than 12 months. We only need everything for 12 months for that particular year, right? So in this case, we are given this information and we've got investments there. Investments are assets, so they cannot qualify to be expenses. Retained income, owner's equity, mortgage bond, it's a liability. Land and buildings, assets, non-current assets. Vehicles, non-current assets. Prepaid expenses are current assets. Repairs and maintenance are expenses. We will consider them when we prepare our admin or maybe our distribution, depending on what are they telling us. What are these maintenance and repairs for which department? Are they for admin department or are they for distribution department? We will see that. All right, so equipment at cost, it's non-current asset is an asset. Accumulated depreciation, those are, I usually call them negative assets because they decrease assets on a larger amount. Okay, and then we've got debtors or account receivables. We've got salaries and wages for sales department. Creditors are liabilities. Inventory are for current assets, which that's assets. Bank assets. SARS, liability. Rent, we still have to determine whether this rent is the rent income or expense. And then cash handling, it's one of the items that falls under bank charges. Marketing director's remuneration, expense as well. Cash handling is an expense. Printing and stationery consumed expense. Checkbook fee also is part of the items that we will use to calculate bank charges. Is an expense. Accounting fee or accounting fees expense. Freight on sales expense. Fuel consumed expense and depreciation on vehicles expense. All right, so this is what we are going to be dealing with, but we are only going to be focusing on calculating admin and distribution cost. All right, so now we are going to go through the additional information and we analyze each transaction and we record. All right, and then the rest we'll copy and paste if they are not affected with the additional information. All right, so let's see transaction number one. Transaction number one, they say the gross profit and cost of sales amounted to 1,400,000 and respectively cost of sales 1 million. All right, and then remember we are focusing on transactions that are going to affect admin expenses and distribution expenses. So number one is the affect gross profit, sales, cost of sales. We are not there for now. So transaction number two, they say at the end of the current financial year, the company was expecting to receive investment income of 5,000. The investment income it's an item that's gonna fall under other incomes. We are not there. We want transactions that will fall under our admin or distribution. All right. So let's go to the next transaction. The next transaction says Mrs. Van Rooyen was declared insolvent and his outstanding balance of 12,000 still needs to be written off as irrecoverable. All right. So since this transaction says so, that means this is an account where we have to create an account called bad debts or credit losses, right? So 12,000 bad debts or credit losses are admin expenses, right? So admin expense, let's see if we've got credit losses in the balances that were provided from the accounting. By the look of things, when I check here, let's see. I don't think there's any adjustment we need to make. We just have gonna copy and paste this 12,000 under our admin as credit losses or bad debts, right? So let's go to our answer sheet right there where we are doing calculations. So this is admin, so credit losses. Credit losses, 12,000, all right? And then we are done with that transaction because it affected one of the items that we need. Then let's go to the next transaction. The next transaction, they say to you, marketing director's remuneration includes 25,000 salaries paid to chief financial officer, all right? And 22,000 paid to the chief operational officer, all right? So now, remember, marketing director's remuneration, it's sales or marketing expense, which is going to fall under distribution costs, right? So one of the item for distribution cost, marketing director's remuneration, okay? Marketing director remuneration. Marketing director's remuneration. And then they said it includes some amount that don't belong there because the remuneration for financial officer and the remuneration for operations for chief financial officer and chief operation officer, they are admin, right? So in this case, we're going to check how much is the marketing director's remuneration. They said it's 67,000 and it includes 25,000 for chief financial officer and it also include 22,000 for chief operational office, right? So how are we going to record this transaction? 67,000. So we're just going to exclude them because they don't belong there. So we're just going to take 67,000. We subtract 25,000 for chief financial officer. We also subtract 22,000 for chief operational officer, right? So let's put it on our calculators there and see how much are we having right there. Let's see. 67,000, you subtract 25,000, you subtract 22,000. I get the marketing director's remuneration of 20,000. 20,000, all right? 20,000. Okay, and then now we go to our administrative costs. Admin costs, we are going to record the salary or the remuneration for chief financial officer's salary or remuneration of 25,000, all right? And we also going to record salary for chief Chief operational officers salary or remuneration of 22,000, right? Okay, and then we are done with that transaction. We've solved it. Now let's proceed. Let's go to the next transaction right there. Another transaction number 5, they say to you maintenance and repairs were done on delivery vehicle. So delivery vehicle is a vehicle that we use when we distribute goods to the customers. So that means repairs and maintenance are for distribution, right? These are distribution costs because it's the vehicle that we use to deliver or distribute our products to customers. So number 2 is going to be maintenance and repairs. And repairs, right? Maintenance and repairs, they were done on a delivery vehicle for how much? Let's see. Maintenance and repairs up there, they were done for 21,790. 21,790. We come this side, we're gonna say 21,790 because they are for delivery vehicle. All right, that is the car that we use to distribute products to the clients when they've purchased or when we've sold to them. So this is a sales expense. All right, and then let's proceed with the next transaction. The next transaction says printing includes the cost of printing catalogs, 6,400. So catalogs are the I can say some pamphlets or papers that the shops use to advertise. So we're gonna say advertising, right? Advertising is one of the marketing expenses, right? Remember, distribution costs are marketing or sales expenses, right? So advertising, and then advertising, they said is 6,400, and then they said this 6,400 was included in printing. So printing is administrative expense. So let's go and see which is up there. They say it's printing and stationery. So printing and stationery of 14,000. Printing and stationery, and say printing and stationery, right? And stationery, and then in brackets you say 14,000, you subtract 6,400 that doesn't belong there, which belongs to the cost, right? And then you do your calculations. How much? Let's put that on the calculator and see how much is your printing and stationery expenditure, right? So it's going to be 14,000. You subtract 6,400, and then I'm getting 7,600. 7,000. Let's go to that transaction, and then let's go to the next transaction. Let's go to the next transaction. The next transaction, let's see. The next transaction, they say creditors balance include interest charged by WMD suppliers. These are interest on overdue account, so it doesn't affect our admin or expenses, right? So I'm not going to do that. Let's go to the next transaction. Account according to lease agreement, rent is 2,000 per month. So rent is 2,000 per month, but we need to check what rent is this. Is it an income or expense? Let's go. So rent there, remember, you just need to check where is rent. Rent is on the credit side, right? Rent is on the credit side. Therefore, when rent is on the credit side like that, it means it's an income, because remember, incomes increases on the credit side and decrease on the debit side, and expenses decreases on the debit side. I mean, increase on the debit side and increase on the credit side. So if this rent was an expense, this amount of 26,000 was going to be on the debit side, but because it's an income, it's on the credit side. Therefore, we're not going to consider it on the expenses that we are doing calculations for. All right, so let's proceed. Transaction number 9, they say all the equipment is employed within dispatch department. So dispatch department is a department where there is movement of goods, where we transport goods to the or deliver goods to the customers. Like it include it's part of the marketing and sales department. All right, so that means the depreciation on equipment should be calculated and be recorded in the distribution cost. All right, so we're going to take that to the distribution cost. So we're going to say depreciation on equipment. Depreciation on equipment, open brackets there. Let's see what are they saying about the percentage, the calculation and all that. Remember, they say depreciation on equipment should still be provided for at 10% per annum using the straight line method. So the straight line method is cost price multiplied by the percentage given, multiplied by number of months divided by 12, right? So let's see how much is our equipment amount right there. So our equipment amount, where is it? There we go, is 70,000, right? 70,000. Okay, so for us to calculate depreciation, we're just gonna follow. We're gonna say 70,000 multiplied by the percentage given is 10%, multiplied by 12 out of 12, just to follow the formula. All right, and then let's put that on the calculator. On the calculator, 70,000 multiplied by 10 times 12 out of 12. I'm getting let's see, I'm getting 12 divided by 12, I'm getting 7,000, right? 7,000. 7,000 is the depreciation on equipment, because this equipment is under the Department of Sales. Okay, it's under the Department of Sales. All right, then let's proceed to the next transaction. The next transaction is they're saying provide for the following: interest on mortgage bond. Interest on mortgage bond is a finance cost account, so we're not going to deal with it. We're only dealing with admin and distribution, and then taxation, we're not dealing with it as well. So let's go and calculate other things. I think we are done with additional information. So when you are done with additional information, it's easy. You're just going to copy and paste, right? You're just going to copy and paste what you do not record so far. So I think we did not record salaries and wages for sales department. Salaries and wages for sales department falls under distribution. It's a sales expense, right? So I'm just gonna copy that one. It's 95,000. So I'm gonna put it under our distribution, costs, 95,000. All right. not affected with any additional information. And then let's proceed. As we proceed, rent we agreed is an income, and then we've got cash handling fees and checkbooks and checkbook fee. Checkbook fee and cash handling fee are bank charges, which goes to distribution cost. So let's go and record bank charges right there. So we're gonna say bank charges, right? Open brackets, bank charges, we open brackets, we're gonna do our calculations. One, we have cash handling fee of 450 and we have checkbook of 500. So we're just gonna say 450 plus 500. All right, 500, and then we put that on our calculator. Is giving us how much there? I know someone gonna say we can just see it is 950. Calculate, because you will make mistakes in the test today. We want you to calculate. We don't want you to just predict and then think, you know, unless you show off your story, right? Yes, 950. Fine. We are done there. All right. And then let's go to the next one. The next one there that I see is accounting fees. So accounting fees, most of the students, they consider it to be bank charges. But remember, it cannot be bank charges because we go, maybe if the company does not have an accountant, they have to go and outsource an accountant. So from an accounting company, so there's no way an accounting fee or accounting fees can be a bank charges. We're not going, it's not a fee from the bank. All right. And then accounting charges is it's an expense on its own and it falls under distribution, or I mean administrative cost. It falls under admin cost. All right. So we're gonna say accounting fees. Accounting fees right there is 2,000. All right. Accounting fees right there is 2,000. All right. And then we are done with that transaction. Let's go to the next one. The next one, we've got freight on sales. So freight on sales is part of the delivery vehicles that we use. It's an expense. So freight on sales is a distribution expense. So I'm just gonna copy the distribution cost. I'm just gonna copy right there, and then I put it under distribution costs. And then let's see, how much was it? 4,500. So I go there, I say 4,500 freight on sales. All right. And then let's proceed. Now we've got fuel consumed. So if you check fuel consumed, they say 20% for delivery vehicle. So 20% is for delivery vehicle, and then the other 80% is just for normal vehicles that assist with other things in the business or in the company, not for delivery. So that means we've got two things. We've got 20% for distribution, and we've got 80% for admin. So we're gonna go to our distribution first and say fuel. All right, open brackets. How much is our fuel right there? Let's see. Our fuel there is 19,300. So we are going to say 19,300. We multiply by 20 divided by 100, because 20% is for delivery vehicle. How much there? Let's see. Put that on the calculator and tell me how much you are getting right there. Let's see how much we are getting. Let me put that on the calculator as well. Multiply by 20 out of 100. So I'm getting 3,000. I'm getting 3,860. 3,860. All right. And then the other 80% goes to administrative cost, which is going to be, we're just going to say fuel as well. Fuel, you open brackets, you do your calculations right there, is going to be 19,300 multiplied by 80 divided by 100. Okay, and then you're gonna get your answer right there. You put it there. So let's put that on the calculator as well and see how much are we getting. Right, 19,300 multiplied by 80 divided by 100 right there, and then I am getting 54,000. I mean 15,440. 15,440. All right, and then I am done with this one. Let's proceed. I hope you guys understand. And then depreciation on vehicles. They say depreciation on vehicles, the amount, 100% of the amount is 12,000, but now we have got 12% for delivery vehicle. That means 12% of the depreciation goes to distribution, and then 88% goes to admin. So let's do so. Let's do so. All right. So we go to the we go to the distribution. We're gonna say depreciation. Depreciation. This depreciation. Depreciation. This is for delivery vehicle. Let me just mention like that, so that maybe it can make sense. Delivery vehicle is similar to fuel, right? Delivery vehicle. Depreciation for delivery vehicle, in bracket, they said this amount, it amounts to 12,000. So you multiply by 12, you divide by 100. All right, and then let's see how much are we getting for distribution. Let's put that on the calculator. 12,000 multiplied by 12%, which is 12 out of 100. I'm getting 1,440. All right, and then I go to admin. I'm gonna say depreciation, and then this depreciation is for any vehicle that is in the business that is not related to delivering goods to the customers. All right, so that is why there is 2% that we are dealing with. All right, and then vehicle, and then we open brackets, and then it's going to be 12,000 multiplied by 88 divided by 100% right there, or divided by 100. And then how much are you getting there? Let's see. 80 is going to be 12,000 multiplied by 88 divided by 100, and then we get 10,560. All right, and then we are done, because I think the depreciation on vehicle was the last item on our question. We are only calculating, remember, admin and distribution costs, right? Then we are done, because we started with additional information. We've done everything. We've done our adjustments on that, and now we are just going to record. And now after recording, we do the calculations and get the totals, right? We have recorded everything. Now we just have to do the calculation and transfer to the statement of profit or loss under administrative and distribution. So now let's start with the distribution total. Let's calculate it together right there and see how much are we getting. All right, so we're going to start with distribution cost. We have 20,000 up there, plus 21,760, plus 6,400, plus 7,000, plus 95,000, plus 4,500, plus 3,860, plus 1,440. So I'm getting let's see, my calculator is a problem, but let's see. How much am I getting? I'm getting 15999. Is it 99? Let's see. Let's double check the calculations again. Hey, don't want to make a mistake. Let's see. Let's just double check the calculation again. Where did I miss the? Where? Let's see. So it was 20,000 plus 21790 plus 7,000 plus plus 95,000 plus 4,500 plus 3860 plus 1440. Why am I getting different amounts? Let's calculate it there. Let's double check. So let me just do the calculation again. Just want to make sure that I'm getting the right answer. 20,000 plus 215721790 plus 6400 plus 7,000 plus 95,000 plus 4,500 plus 3860 plus 1440. All right, now I'm getting 159,990. All right, 159,990. So you can double check if that answer is correct, but all the calculations that we have done, all of them here, they are correct. All right, even these amounts, I believe they are correct. So those are our distribution cost, and then you will take this amount as the total to the statement of profit or loss and other comprehensive income. All right, and then let's go to the administrative or administration costs. All right, so on the admin cost, let's do the calculation and get the total. All right, 12,000 plus 25,000 plus 22,000 plus 7,600 plus 950, sorry, 950 plus 2,000 plus 15,440 plus 10,560, and then I am getting 9,550. Let's double check if it's correct again. 12,000 plus 25,000 plus 22,000 plus 7,600 plus 950 plus 2,000 plus 15,440 plus 10,560. I'm getting 95,550, which is the same. So it is good that you double check your answers, because sometimes you miss these things. You press 2 instead of 3 on the calculator, then you miss the whole amount. All right, so this is your admin and distribution cost, and please do not forget to subscribe, like, and share. And I will also like to ask those who are interested in helping us to grow the channel to donate. There is a donation icon down there where it says thanks, and then there's a dollar sign. Just press there and donate. I think it starts from 14 rand. I'll appreciate that. 14 rand until whatsoever amount you want to donate with. I will also appreciate that. And please note that we also offer private tutorials. We offer private tutorials, and this coming October, we've got a special where you join our private tutorials, and then in November, you don't pay anything. We're gonna offer you a free preparation for exams. And salute.